Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well today. A quick little invitation to all of you IB Economics students to head on over to my website, bradcartwright.com, a website designed to help you improve your scores in IB Economics, whether that be on an in-class quiz, a test, or ultimately the IB exam. So if you want some more information, check out the description box below. And other than that, enjoy this video. All right, now let's dig deep into the internal assessment. In terms of just looking at what it asks us to do, there's a lot of different strategies on how to teach this. There's a lot of different strategies on how to write it. We're going to go into those in other videos. That's not the focus of what we're going to do right now. This is just providing us with an overview of what the internal assessment in economics asks us to do. Okay. First of all, let me just say this about the internal assessment. An internal assessment is an assessment that is internally graded. That's what internal means. Excuse me. Internal assessment means that that assessment doesn't actually go to the IB to get graded. That would be an external assessment. So an internal assessment is an assessment that you take as an IB student and your teacher grades internally in the school. Okay. Ultimately, what happens, let's say your teacher has like 30 students. The teacher will grade all 3 of the commentaries, the internal assessments you have to do as you go through your course of study, and then send those grades off to the IB. And the IB will then say, hey, you know what? You need to send us 10 examples of your grading. And so she will send 10 examples. They'll give her the names of the students, and she will send those 10 IAs off to the IB. At which point somebody at the IB, a teacher, just like me or some examiner, will grade those IAs and see if your teacher actually is, giving you the marks that you deserve. Maybe she's grading too hard, and therefore what they'll do is they'll moderate the marks, which means that all 30 of those marks will either go up or down based on your teacher's marking of the 10 students' work that went to the IB. Okay, so that's what internal means. Internal means that it's graded inside your particular school. External is like paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 that are graded by IB people, right? Okay. The other thing is, like, the internal assessment you should do really well on. Like, it's a paper, you have the rubric, you have your teacher, you have your book, you have your brain, you have, the ability to take your time to write this thing. You can rewrite this thing if you don't like the marks that your teacher gave you. So, like, you should really be doing really well on your IA. Okay. So let's take a look at some key elements. First of all, if you're a high-level student, the IA, internal assessment, is 20% of your overall composite score. If you're a standard level student, it's 30% of your composite score. Okay? All students must write 3 of these commentaries. Each student selects a news article from a different news source. So you actually get a real-life example, an article from the New York Times, the London Times, the Guardian, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, whatever, Singapore Times, doesn't matter. And then you take that information, think about paper 2, you are given the data, then you write an evaluation and an analysis and evaluation. And in this case, it's the inverse of that, right? What do? Well, you find an article, and then you draw the diagrams, you provide the information, you synthesize it with one of those 9 themes, you provide the evaluation, okay? So the goal of the internal assessment is to apply the economic theory to real-life situations while embedding the central themes, which, of course, are those 9 central themes of scarcity, choice, blah, blah, blah. Okay, excellent. You got that? Okay, cool. So, also, key elements to know. Your internal assessment must be based on different parts of the syllabus. In other words, you have to write 1 on microeconomics. If you're an HL student, that would be microeconomics and market power. Or macroeconomics or global economy, okay? So if you're SL, micro, macro, global economy. If you are HL, micro for you would include market power plus macro plus global economy, okay? Each IA, internal assessment or commentary, must refer to a different one of the 9 central themes, which are scarcity, choice, efficiency, equity, economic well-being, sustainability, change, interdependence, and intervention, okay? So, different news source, Different part of the syllabus, different central theme. Okay, so no replication, in other words. All right. There's a maximum of 800 words for your internal assessment. Each of the articles you choose must come from a different source. I just said that. Each commentary, and we'll look at the mark scheme in a second, is worth 14 marks, okay? So there are 3 of them. Each one of them is worth 14 marks, so that's 14 times 3 is 42. Then you will get 3 points for the neatness, the beauty, the cuteness, the professionalism of your portfolio, which is basically just making sure that your IAs look nice, in all honesty. Like the diagrams aren't too big, they aren't too small. You use number 12 font, you should use a Times New Roman. Don't get creative. Economics is not, the IA is not a place to get creative. It has all of the elements that they ask for, you've hit those, and those are perfunctory. And so basically you should always get these 3 points, okay? So therefore, the IA, your score is out of 45 points, right? 42, 14 times 3 is 42, plus 3 is 45, okay? Cool. Now, each one of the commentaries must have each one of these items, this sort of information available to the IB. And there's actually a cover sheet that goes along with it, but you must have the title of the article, you must know the source of the article, you must have the date that the article was published, you must have the date that the commentary was written, you must know the word count of the commentary, you must provide the unit of the syllabus to which the article relates, and the key theme that is being referred to in the commentary itself, okay? Pretty straightforward. They're going to ask you these things. This is a way of making sure that when you go through your IAs, because you're going to probably write your IA in microeconomics after you study micro, so that's your junior year. After you write your after you study macroeconomics, you'll probably write the IA, which is the end of your junior year. And then in your senior year, or year 2, you're going to write the commentary on the global economy, which will probably cover the international economics portion of the global economy, okay? Cool? You got that? There's a lot to say here, and there's a lot of strategies about how to go about this, but this is just the basic overview of what the IA looks like. Okay. So now let's take a look at the internal assessment rubric, okay? There are 5 criterion, A, B, C, D, E, for the internal assessment, okay? So first of all, you're going to get assessed based on your ability to construct and explain relevant diagrams, okay? You are going to, and there's 3 marks, get assessed on your ability to use appropriate economic terminology accurately. You are going to be assessed on the application and analysis of your ability to apply economic theory with effective economic analysis. 3 marks for that. You are going to be assessed on the key concept, your ability to identify and link the key concept with the real life situation. And then in the end, you will have to evaluate it based on you'll get marks on evaluation based on the ability for you to make judgments supported by effective and balanced reasoning, okay? So if you add that up, 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 14, okay? So that's how they arrive at the score for your internal assessment. Again, one of the things about the internal assessment, this is an opportunity for you to really, really get 20% if you're an HL student, 30% if you're an SL student, you know, a big chunk of the marks that you want to get on your ultimate IB exam grade or your ultimate composite grade at the end of the whole process, all right? So there's a look at the internal assessment. I hope you found that to be helpful, and we'll check you in the next video.